Okay, we are recording. So, um, let's share screen. Hang on 1 second. No, it's not there. Let me find it. Here it is. Oh, shoot, I shut it down all the way. Okay.
Mhm.
Aw.
You can
All
hear me.
right. Come on. What's going on here? And seconds. Okay, so let me share the screen with you. What else do we got in here? Share. All right. You guys see that screen? My email?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I always I create folders on the side here in my inbox. I'll right click and I'll hit new folder, and then which I don't need to do that, but so what I'll do is I save it under my seconds right here. So every time Lisa sends one, I'll just drag them in here. You guys could do that too with whatever you want, but that's just how I manage my day. Because I was saving these on my desktop and they'd start cluttering. So anyway, so this is the email, and obviously it comes with the rate sheet and then it comes with the Excel spreadsheet. We always want to double click on the Excel spreadsheet and open that up, which I already have opened up here. Let me just drag it over. And this is what it looks like. So if you see down here, it's the same thing. It's got the rate sheet in here. Do you guys see this rate sheet?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the way it used to be back in the day. Prior to '08, we would get rate sheets from investors all the time. And this is how we used to price loans. We'd have to look at the rate, we'd have to look at the yield in the rate, and then we'd have to go to our loan level price adjustments and start deducting all the hits out of our yield. So as an example, 7.75 has a 4.5 yield on this 10-6 arm, right? Or if on the 30-year fixed, whatever it is, 7.75, 4.6, right? And then we take that 4.6 of yield and then we start deducting it from all of our loan level pricing adjustments depending on the scenarios, right? If it's a two doc or standard doc, 2 years, bank statement, blah blah blah. You just figure out what category you're in, start deducting from your yield to find out. Uh, Here's occupancy, loan sizes, all kinds of different things where you get adjustments. You don't have to do any of this. This is the way I'm used to pricing loans back in the day, because this is how we would all have to do it. But now they make it nice and easy with our pricers that you guys get to experience through Encompass, et cetera. Right. And for these guys as well, they have their pricing calculator on this final tab over here. So they have two offerings. They have their non-QM products, which are on the top up here. And then down below, which what we're going to focus on today, is their seconds, right? They have a HELOC and they have a closed-end second. Now, Veris is a correspondent investor with us, which basically means that again we fund anything on a correspondent channel with our own money, with our own bank line, right? So Ashley sends out disclosures, she sends out COCs, she sends out CDs, we underwrite it, lock it, fund it, just like any other lender that we use right now. New Res, Planet, no different. The only difference is that we have to price on their daily sheet that they send out versus shop or pricing it in Encompass. So that's the only other caveat. But just know that they are a correspondent, just the same as any of our other correspondents that we price through Encompass. So we get yield spread premium pricing just like we would with any other investor that we correspond with. So you always want to start in this first box here. It defaults to close-end seconds. Sometimes it's actually on HELOCs. It just depends on how the investor sends it on a day-to-day. Usually it's on a closed-end second. The difference between a closed-end second and a HELOC is a closed-end second is not a revolving line of credit. It has a beginning and an end, just like any other uh, 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 loan, like a car loan or a mortgage or anything like that, right? It's got a beginning and end. A HELOC is an open line of credit, just like a revolving credit card. You pay it off, and that line of credit is still available to you, unless you go through an '08 crisis like we did, when all the banks said, "Guess what? We're not only are we closing your close-end second because your house went upside down in value, but not only you can't access it, but we're going to close it." And they were doing that. There were people, we had $250,000 lines of credit, and they cut it down to 50 grand, said you've only got access to 50 grand now because your house went upside down in value. And then they eventually just canceled them all together. So they have the right to do that. It's very unheard of. It was a one-time thing that happened in '08, but it can happen. So anyways, and the other caveat to the difference between a closed-end second and a HELOC is closed-end second, if you get a second for 200 grand as an example, on a closed-end second, they're going to give you the entire 200 grand upfront in a lump sum, right? Because it's a loan. On a HELOC, you can have a $200,000 line of credit, and you're only minimum have to take out 50 grand. You're only paying interest and payment on the 50 grand, not the whole 200, only on what you've drawn on. And you can put that money back in to your pay it towards your account, pay it off, and then have no payment, right? And still have the line of credit open. So those are two differences. It used to be that we'd only get paid on the initial draw amount. So if the draw amount was 200 grand, we had 1% of yield in that, that's 2 grand, right? That's all we would make. If it was a $200,000 line of credit and they got only 50,000 out, we'd only get paid 1% off the 50 grand, which is $500. Not as good, right? But now doesn't matter if it's a line of credit for 200 grand, you get paid on the 200 grand, whether they take the whole draw amount or not. So that's good news for us. So again, close-end second or a HELOC. These are your choices, and you have the little drop downs here. Income, just always want to look at all the drop downs. Credit scores, you always want to look at and find out what bucket you fall in. We'll just leave it at what it's defaulted at. The housing rates always default to 000, no mortgage rates. I usually just leave it at that. And then all this other events, BKs 13 or 7, foreclosure, short sale, forbearance, never, no forbearance. We just leave it at that. And then the eligibility product is close-end second. Now, if I were to switch this to HELOC, this switches to HELOC. Did you notice that? But this is one thing you have to remember. The product type in this second bucket is still on close-end second. And that's why it's showing non-eligible over here, because you got the wrong product, right? So if I switch this to HELOC, it's still showing ineligible, and I'm not sure why. And that's one of the other things I don't care about with the way that they send these out, is sometimes these don't work very well. Sometimes they'll have issues with close-end second 30. Sometimes I have issues with these things not pricing properly or showing an ineligible when it should be eligible based on your scenario. If you ever come across that, again, this is Excel. So Excel has a lot of formulas built into it. Sometimes they get corrupted or whatever. Lisa can always price it for you directly on their website for you if you ever run into issues like that, because they do have the ability, and she can actually teach you guys, if you want to learn, how to go directly onto their website and price it yourself. It's right on, obviously their software, so it's not this Excel spreadsheet, and and it never has any issues. And she always cross-checks that for you anyway. So if you say, hey, I'm selling this deal and it's yielding 4 points, then she'll reprice it on their website and make sure everything's correct and there was nothing missed or got convoluted. So anyway, so we'll just keep it on the close-end second. They pay the same. There's no difference in payment. Now, the one thing you want to know about the difference as well from the close-end seconds to the HELOCs is HELOCs are adjustable, right? So if you notice here, actually, let's go to the HELOC rate sheet. So if you see here, and this is something you guys probably don't know if you've never done an ARM before, but ARMs are always tied to an index. Prime is an index, right? So prime right now is at 7.5, right? So it's always prime plus. Prime is the index plus the margin, whatever, to get your yield. So if we go back to the pricer, this is your margin right here. And this is what you're choosing to get your yield. So if I went to, it's at 9.25 right now, but let's go down to 8.25 and see what happens to our price over here. So now our yield is reduced. And if you notice here, our documentation type, because we are on a 12-month bank statement, is at 2.73. That's a positive number, not a negative. And then here's a negative number for loan amount. It's between 75 and 100. So if we went up to 500, let's see how it affects our loan amount, if it changes it at all. Well, now instead of losing a quarter, we gain 0.375, right? It likes the bigger loan amount, so it's giving us a credit rather than a cost for loan amount. Let's keep this at, let's keep it between 150 and 200. Loan amount, now it's par. See that? There's no cost, there's no credit for the loan amount. That's kind of right in the middle. So, and this is on a 12-month bank statement. So let's go look at our documentation type. This is our income documentation. That's what it means by documentation. So let's do the drop down and see what our choices are. So right now we're on 12-month bank statement. 24-month bank statement should price better because we're showing 24 months worth of deposits rather than 12 months. So let's try 24 and see if that improves our documentation type right here. We're at 2.375. It went to 2.5. So it did improve, right? Because we went 24 months. Let's change this to full doc. Let's say 24-month full doc, which basically means we're giving 2 years W-2s or tax returns and pay stubs, right? So let's see what it does to our documentation type. We're at 2.5 right now. Didn't do anything. It's still, in their eyes, it's pricing just as good full doc as it is bank statement. Still 2.5, right? And our total yield is 4. You can never earn more than 4 points total on a HELOC. So we're always shooting for trying to get the 4 points. So I'm at 2.408 plus 2.5, right? So that's almost 5 points, right? If we take 2.408 plus 2.5, we're at 2.408 plus 2.5. We're actually at 4.9, but the max they're going to pay us is 4. So that means I have a little bit of wiggle room there. So let's see if I can lower the interest rate for this guy and still keep my 4 points. So I'm going to go to the drop down here. Whoops, what's going on here? There's already data here. Do you want to replace it? Okay. See? And see how it freaks out? It does weird stuff. So I'm going to exit out of this. I'm not going to save. Don't save. And I'm going to reopen it. Okay, so we're gonna go full doc. Oh, enable editing, sorry. So I'm gonna go full doc 24 months. I'm at the 2.5. See, I got 5.3, but I only get 4. So let's lower this to let's go 7. Let's go to 7.5. So at 7.5, I'm only getting 2.1. So let's just keep, oh, actually, let's put this back to 200. Now I'm at 2.3 because it likes the bigger loan amount, right? And obviously we're at a between 65 and 70% loan to value ratio. This is CLTV means combined loan to value ratio. LTV we all know is loan to value ratio. The C in front of it means combined loan to value ratio. So that means basically it's combined with the first mortgage and the second, and the combination of the two puts us where we're at. Max you can go to is 95 in some cases. Just depends on your total scenario, but we'll play around with it. So I want to get this to 4. So let's go to 8% and see where we're at. So 8% puts us at 4. I have 2. That's basically it, right? If I have 2.5 plus 1.6, I have just a hair left in yield. Let's go to 7.875 and see where that puts us. And see, we don't have the 4 there. So 8 is going to be our number where we want to be at. We always want to try to be at 4 because remember, this is correspondent. This is raw pricing right here. This does not have the 1.2 margin built in by West One Capital that you see in Encompass. When you guys price a loan in Encompass, the 1.2 is already built in, but it's not built in here. So you have to deduct 1.2 from that, and that leaves you 2.8. That's what you guys put in your pocket, the difference between the 1.2, right? So in this scenario, I would be selling 8%. I'm going to 70% loan to value ratio. I'm earning 2.8 in yield. You could charge points on top of that. Say you want to charge a point or 2 on top of that and earn 4.8. You can do that. So that's what my buddy John just closed one. So let's say on this one, let's say you charge only 1 point of origination. So you have 3.8 total on a 200,000 loan amount times 2 or whoops, 3.8%. You earn $7,600 on a $200,000 HELOC. That's pretty dang good, right, Patrick? Look at Patrick. That's phenomenal. And
That's
then
that's definitely worth doing now. Back in the day, it wasn't worth shit, but
yeah,
now
you can make anything on these.
my eyes are wide open right now.
Yeah. So you have an 8% interest rate, $200,000 loan amount. So you just use your mortgage calculator, 200,000 loan amount, 8% interest rate, 30-year term, payment is 1467, right? And that's you just plug it into a regular amortization calculator. If you guys don't have this qualifier plus calculator, qualifier plus, I highly suggest you go onto Amazon. They're like $50. I don't know if you guys can see, but I have all these keys here that say loan amount, payment, term, and interest rate. And I can go in any order I want. So I put in 200,000 and hit loan amount. I put in 8% and I hit interest rate. I put in 30-year and I put term and I hit the payment button. It tells me the payment. These things are,
Carrick, is that the 3415?
it is this one is hang on, 43430. This is they have a handheld one and they have the desktop one. I like the big desktop one because I'm old and my eyes are failing. And so I like the big numbers, but they have handheld ones as well.
And you said qualifier. What is it? 43
Qual-
what?
Qualifier plus, and it is it's all kind of this weird color. 43430. Model 43430.
All right, thanks, bud.
Yeah. It's a qualifier. It's a qualifier plus 3 FX is what it shows on the top up here. And then that's the model number I gave you. So anyways, super simple to calculate that out. So now let's play around with this. Let's say they want to go to 80%. Let's see what it does to our pricing. So we'll switch it to 80. And now I'm only getting 2.5. So now I'd want to up my rate in order. Let's go to 8.5. 8.5 now gets me my 4 points, right? Because I went to a higher loan to value ratio. And because I went to a higher loan to value ratio, it's riskier. And so the risk is always equates to in fee, right? Or higher rate. If we sell a higher rate, that means the investor earns more interest, and that extra revenue that they get by us selling a higher rate uh, offsets the risk in going to a higher loan to value ratio. Let's try to go to 90. Let's see if we can get to 90 on this. 85 to 90. And now now we're making nothing, right? We're under 100. We want to be, so let's raise the rate on this to 9.5. Let's see what that puts us. That puts us a little closer. Let's go to 9.875. Now we might be in the tens, 10.25, 10.25, 10.25. But look at the adjustments, 3.5% hit because we're going to a higher loan to value ratio. It's not putting it in loan to value ratio, which is kind of interesting. It's putting in documentation type, the adjustment, but whatever, however they want to slice and dice it. The bottom line is you got to sell a higher rate to still earn the same amount. But you're going to a higher loan to value ratio. And again, that equates to risk. And so, so there you go.
So when you're pricing these up, you're going for that 4%.
I'm going for the 4 every time because remember, you guys have to back out 1.2 that the house takes. Now, let's say you wanted to give this guy a par rate. So your par rate's going to be 1.2 because the house gets 1.2, right? So you could drop this to 1.2. Let's go to 9. That's almost there. Let's call it 9.25. Okay, that's close enough. 9.25 puts you at 1.2. So the house is paid, but how do you make money? Well, now you got to charge them origination up front. So let's say you charge 2 points of origination. Say, I'll give you the 9.25, but I got to charge you 2 points of origination. So you're putting $4,000 in your pocket, 2% times $200,000 loan. You're putting $4,000 in your pocket. House is covered right here. They got the lower rate, a point lower than the other without them paying any points, and everybody's happy, right? So you gotta slice and dice it however it's going to work best for your client.
And again, their margin is 1.2.
The company margin is 1.2 on everything, even on your if we price a loan in Encompass, your Encompass already has the 1.2 built in.
That was going to be my next question. If we do this online, is that 1.2 absorbed on the online version?
No, it's raw pricing. It's raw. So you just have to account for that when you're looking at it. Yeah.
All right. Amy, make note of that, honey.
Yeah. Now I want to show you the Heloc. So if you go to the Heloc, you'll notice that Helocs are wait a minute. This is a Heloc. It's at 7.5. And then you have, let's see if it has a closing second. No, let's try closing second. So the close-end second, it uses a different index. This is the, what's this called now? This is the one that took over the LIBOR index. Hang on a sec. You guys hear Val Kilmer died?
Yeah.
Pretty sad.
For sure.
It is the secured overnight finance rate. It used to be the LIBOR, which is a London interbank, blah, blah, blah. That was the index that this index replaced. And in adjustable rate mortgages, just so you know, they always look at the margin, which is this, plus the index, and oh, I'm sorry, they take the index, this is the index, and then they take the margin and they add them together, and that gets you, so let's just, for giggles, 4.3343 is the index right now. This is what it adjusts, right? This is tied to a market. Just think about it like on the stock market. If you look at the 10-year treasury or whatever, things go up and down every day, right? So these rates, this is a market that moves up and down every day. If we go back to our calculator and we see that we're at 9.25, it's our margin plus that index gives us this, right? So if I take the 9.25 minus 9.25, that means that our margin on this is 4.9157. 4.9157 plus, whoops, plus 4.3343 equals 9.25. You don't have to do the math on it, trust me. The margin and the index added together give us this rate that we're selling to yield us what we're trying to yield, right? So that 4.91, which is the margin, will always stay. It never goes away. That is, think of that like their fixed rate. It's the margin that you agreed to, 4.915, and that will fluctuate based on whatever this index does on a day-to-day, right? So it goes up and down based on whatever that does. You don't really have to worry about that so much. That's just insider info, so you guys sound smart when you're talking to your clients. So anyway, so that's how it works. Again, you just price these on, we always price them on a 30-year. Now you could do shorter terms, right? So if you did a 25-year term or 20-year term or 10 or 15, then you take your handy dandy qualifier plus 3 calculator and you do 10-year amortization instead of 30-year amortization to get your payment if that's what they want. But that's how you calculate out your payments. Everybody always does 30, right? Who wants to do a 10-year close in second? Nobody. That's kind of how it
Eric,
works.
since you're on here,
Yeah.
can we switch up to that file that we were pricing out the other day? Just because mine, I'm pricing live watching you and it's not giving me an eligible rate. But when we priced it out the other day, it gave us a rate, if you remember.
Yeah, I sort of remember. So tell me the scenario on that one. What was the?
So you said HELOC or closed end, it's going to be the same,
It's the
correct?
same. Yeah, they don't really change.
Okay. So let's just keep it at a closed end.
Okay.
Borrow income, but our credit score was 660.
660. So we go 660 between 660 and 679.
And then
And then close in
keep
second.
everything
And
the
then
same there.
what's our CLTV?
We are at a 50.
50. So 50 and under. Okay. And then we're
And
doing
see,
24-month full doc.
yes. And
And
we're
then
doing 100.
between 75
Yep,
and 100.
75 to 100. And see, it's telling us loan to value exceeds scenario.
Yeah.
But the other day it was giving us a price. So I'm not, I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
that's weird. Let's try it as a HELOC. Let's just see if this one works now. HELOC,
Yeah, it did the same thing to me as well.
and let's go 30-year HELOC. And so now we're getting nothing up here at all.
Yep.
Let's up our score and see if we get something. See, because sometimes like this looks like a perfect scenario to me, right? 800 credit score, under 50% loan to value ratio, full doc, like 100 grand. That should give us price all day, but it's not. And that's why I say this thing is finicky. The only other thing we could do is maybe lower the rate.
Well, let's pop it up to 680. Maybe I think I just opened up his report. So let's pop it to 680. 680 to
Oh, look,
699.
I just changed the margin and got it to work. So let's go to 680
There you
660.
go.
right in that bucket. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so now we got some pricing. So so we're under 50 Heloc, 100K, 30-year Heloc, full doc, 24-month full doc. So we're at 9435. So let's up this to, is it not going to go any higher? Yeah, see, we're capped at 3.5 for whatever reason. Even if we get more yield, it's not letting us go over on this scenario. It's not letting us go over 3.5, no matter how high I raise the margin. Let's go to 6.5. And see, now it's telling us it's not eligible.
Yeah.
So looks like, what do we say? 5.5. So 3.5 is what it's capping us at. So let's just keep lowering the rate until still 3.5. Good. Let's go to still 3.5. Good. Let's go to still there. Good. 2.5. Still there. 2. 1. Nope, that's where we lose it. Okay, so 1.5. Nope, we want to go higher than that. 1.75. There it is. So 1.75 is your margin. You're going to add it to the index, right? On this one you do. On the closing second you don't, but on the HELOCs you add it. So again, we'll go to the HELOC. And this is tied to prime, right? 7.5. So it's 7.5 plus 1.75 is 9.25. Is that right?
Yep. 9.25.
9.25. So take 9.25 interest rate, 30-year term. What was the loan amount? 100,000.
Yep.
We'll call it 100,000.
Okay.
Loan amount payment is 822 if they took the whole 100 grand out. If they
Okay.
took just the
So
minimum, which is 50,000, the payment's 411. But yeah, that works.
so 100. What was the payment that you got on 100?
It was 100,000 loan amount. It was 822 and
822.68.
68. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Same thing
Yeah.
I got over here.
And that'd be exactly half of that if you went to only the $50,000 draw, if they did that. And if they did the close in second, let's do it on the close in second. Let's see if we get a difference. Close in second, this changed, this did not. See this? This is the one that will make it non-eligible. So let's switch this to close in second 30-year. And up our margin. It should be close to the same. What do we have? 9.25. Yeah, so 9.25 is, that's it. We're maxed, right? Let's go to 9, see if we get lower at 9. Oh yeah, 9's you get, so you get a little bit better of a rate.
Okay.
8.75. So yeah, 9. 9 is where we want to be on the close in second.
And that's going to pay better than the HELOC, correct? Or the
And it pays better. You get another half. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So you guys got it? It's pretty easy. You just got to play around with it. Sometimes you got to log out, log back in. And again, if it ever gets funky and weird, Lisa can always price for you or show you guys how to price on the on their direct portal online and get away from this stupid spreadsheet. Spreadsheets are finicky. I used to do some programming, just basic math stuff, you know, getting different cells to add, subtract, divide, multiply from one cell to the next. It's pretty easy, but it gets weird. So yeah, so that's it. And you see, I mean, there's, you know, there's good money to be made. Here's one other thing I want to bring up. So one of our guys down in San Diego, I got a team down in San Diego that's been bringing in deals, and they just had one that's $100,000 HELOC, and all of our fees are the same on a HELOC as they would be on a first mortgage. And the guy's fees ended up being, well, the guy was charging 2 points of origination. But the fees were just like $9,000 on total on a HELOC, and the guy flipped out. So we went to the owner of West One Capital and told him, hey man, for these HELOCs, you know, they're, if they did a full doc HELOC and they went to Wells Fargo, Chase, B of A, they could walk in any of these, or credit union, they could walk in any of these institutions to get these things free, right? We're charging big bucks. Now, the guy that we're doing down in San Diego, he's doing a 24-month bank statement HELOC. None of our retail banks offer that. No regular direct lenders offer that. Like we're one of the rare people that offer that. So I'm telling, our rep down there, hey, this guy, you got to sell the product. Where else are you going to go and get a HELOC, buddy? If you can't prove your income, if you can't show your income traditionally, the Fannie Freddie way, via pay stubs or tax returns or W-2s, you're not going to get a HELOC. So we're your last ditch effort to get $100,000 out, and it's going to cost you, but that's exorbitant. So we're in negotiations right now with the title and escrow company to bring their fees down, because their fees were almost $3,000. Bring their fees down, trying to get Ashley, our processor, to bring her fees down. The owner of West One Capital already agreed to take that 1845 funding fee and cut that in half for our HELOCs, anything under $200,000. So we're going to make it more appealing to customers that need these. But the main thing that people need to understand is, anybody that needs any of this bank statement, or look at 1099 income, bank statement income for a HELOC, like they got nowhere else to go but us, right? Because no traditional bank is offering that. And that's what you got to sell them on, is we do stuff outside the box that, most people can't offer. And if you're full doc and, you just want to go to B of A and wait 6 months for them to close your HELOC, go ahead. You want us to knock it out in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, you come to us. But that's just something, you guys should know as you're selling these things, as you come across them. Any questions, anybody? Are your brains sore? Remember, I'm recording this. I'm going to be posting this on YouTube as soon as this meeting's over, so you can always refresh yourself if you missed anything or you forgot something or whatever. It's there, or call me,
Hey, Carrick, do you find
Yeah.
the same glitches on the software? Or I understand how Excel's can be a little frustrating sometimes, but when you're online, do you ever come into a problem?
Never.
All right.
Never. Yeah. And even we'll even actually do it, even the stuff that goes through Encompass on our Encompass pricer. We still cross-check, even because when we lock an interest rate with any of our investors, we lock with that investor, right? Directly on their websites. So we'll always cross-check what you guys are showing. And that's why we want you guys to print screen your page. If this is your screen right here, if this is what you're selling, you want to go here and click new and say, copy that and say, send this snippet to us when you're ready to lock a loan, right? And we save these in your folder because we can double check this. If this is the yield, and then Lisa or Ashley or someone goes in to lock the loan for you, and they see this yield is different than than what's coming up on their portal. Maybe there's a pricing change in the middle of it all. Maybe, maybe their thing was screwed up. We would see changes, differences consistently with like New Res and Planet and some of these, but it seemed to always be for the better, not the worse. So that was always a good thing. But we want to make sure at bare minimum that you're getting what you're expecting, right? If this is what you're expecting, we want to make sure when we lock it, it's matching, and or if it's better, we don't, no big deal, just more money in your pocket. But if it's under, we want to bring it to your attention, say, hey, this thing's not coming up the same as I have it. Let's figure out why or what, or call the account executive or figure out what's going on. But so it's always a good idea to snip your pricing when you send over a lock request so that we can save that in the folder and make sure that we're all on the same page.
Okay, but we cannot price these through Encompass. We either have to do it on this Excel spreadsheet or we have to do it through their specific website, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so if we're doing it through their website, do we need to do snippets as well, or can Lisa access those after the fact?
She can access it after the fact, but still, I mean, it's always good just to snip it anyways, because what if she clicked something wrong or you clicked something wrong and she's not getting the same thing, or vice versa, or if they had a rate change in the middle of it all. You sent this snip over and it's like, it's paying me 2.5 and all of a sudden now it's paying 3. Oh, Patrick, you just got an extra half because there was a price improvement.
Right on. I love it. I just want to make sure we're doing it exactly the way that you and Lisa want it done. So
yeah,
right
yeah.
on.
Yeah,
I'm
we
sure
just want to make
Amy-
sure we're all on the same page and
Yeah.
there's no surprises down the road, right?
Yeah, I'm sure Amy's hearing all this too. So right on. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Candace, Amy, Jimbo,
Yes.
questions, concerns, comments?
No,
Okay,
I'm
thank you for your help.
You're welcome.
yeah, I'm just glad that we're able to offer Helix now. So that allows me to go back to circle back with my prospects and let them know, So
Yeah, yeah, because
exciting stuff.
yeah, like the guy that we're pricing loan out today, he was at a 2.9 on his first. So all those guys that have these real low rates, it's going to be very difficult to get them, even when the rates do come down, to get them to tap in to their equity on a first mortgage. So we should get good at these, because we're going to have a lot of people that this is the only thing they're going to use to tap into their equity. They're not going to walk away from their 2.25, first mortgage like I have.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And we can actually make money on them now.
And we can make money on them now.
I mean, we have to open our eyes to this, guys. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Takes me back to my US Bank days when I was doing HELOCs all day long.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny.
I got you. I got my Wells Fargo days. I get it.
Candace, do you know Aaron Brown?
I don't. Lisa was asking me about him too, but I've been out of retail banking for so long now.
Yeah. But he's a US Bank branch manager, and he does HELOCs all the time. He doesn't make a nickel on them. As
right.
Working in the retail bank, you don't earn anything. That all goes to the bank.
Yeah.
And so, but he's used to gathering the steps and doing everything just like normal to close a loan out, but he's not making anything on it. It's like, he's like, man, to make something on these is unheard of.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So there you go. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to save this, send you guys, and I'll send to everybody, obviously, the class. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and if you guys want to learn how to go on to Veris's website and price these loans on their website directly, reach out to Lisa and she'll walk you through how to do that. She'll get you set up with the credentials and walk you through how to do that. Sound good?
Sounds good, bud. Thank you so much. Great job.
Thanks, Garrett.
Thanks, Carrick.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And don't forget tomorrow's heart-stopping, exciting class on cost segregation.
Heck yeah, I'll be on that one too.
That's at 11.
Thank you.
And it's just going to be kind of an intro. There's so much to it. But I don't want to hurt your brains, but it's just going to be an intro.
Hey, Carrick, I'm going to have to catch that one on YouTube because I'm not going to be.
That's fine.
Instead of looking for one parent, they're probably looking for a couple. Reasonably well off, responsible enough to get medical care for the baby.
Is that somebody's TV?
Oh, it's mine. I'm sorry. All right.
Okay.
I'll
All right,
let you
gang.
guys go.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Just parents.